Yo, before you guys do anything, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Don't forget to like, comment on the video. It really helps with the whole algorithm for the way YouTube does things. You know, a comment would be nice. You know, a share possibly. But yeah, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Now let's get back to the video. Yo, what's good YouTube? So today I'm bringing you guys another video, and today's going to be my first custom on these Air Jordan 1 orange peels, and my goal is to make these into the Bred Toe ones. And so today I'm going to be talking about basically, well, I'm going to demonstrate how to dye your soles on these. It's a pretty easy process. All you really need is the dye. Also you need some acetone or rubbing alcohol, and just make sure that your soles are already clean. I already did, I already ended up cleaning them anyway, so like that, I could just skip that step. But if you guys want to know how to clean shoes, I'll probably put a link below, some of the shoes I restored, so you guys kind of have an idea of how to clean them. But, it's all self-explanatory, really. To clean the bottoms, you could use soap and water. I mean, I do have a rejuvenator that I use for the uppers, but, nothing really too crazy for the bottoms. So with the products we're going to end up using is this dye from Soul Dye. I'll put their Instagram down below. Also, you need acetone, which I ended up getting from Walmart. Probably cost a couple dollars. And my goal for right now, I'm just going to dye the soles. And then I'm going to do a part 2 on the uppers and then doing the rest of the shoe, just because I'm really waiting that I get the rest of my stuff in order to complete this restoration. I do have all the paints and materials. I just need to wait to get my compressor for the airbrush. Once I get that, then I'll be able to complete this custom. So for ventilation purposes, I'm just gonna do this in my garage just so that I get more airflow inside here. So sorry if the lighting isn't too great. So we're just gonna make do for what we have. All right, so I'm gonna try to do my best to really show what I'm trying to do here. Get the dye you have right here. This is from Soul Dye. I'll link their Instagram down below. So here you got your acetone. So all you want to do is grab the acetone, put a little bit in a cotton swab, and you just kind of want to rub the alcohol just around the shoe, just to clean all the oils, anything from your hands from touching it, maybe a little bit of dirt that you left on there. I mean, there are some stains on here, but nothing too crazy. Nothing really I'm worried about. Alright, so once the shoes are already done and acetoned with, so you want to get the dye that you have right here, open it up. So what you want to get is like an old paintbrush, like this one. So I'm just going to lightly dab it into the dye, and I'm going to slowly transfer it into these shoes. So you want to repeat this process over and over again. Just keep adding the dye into the shoe. So the more dye you add, the darker the results is going to end up being. So just constantly just keep adding the dye right here. So I'm not really too worried about getting dye on like a little bit higher on the midsole, just because I really want to make sure that the edges are really red, and then at the end of the day I'm gonna end up painting them anyways, but I'll get to that part once I get to it. So this process just takes a little bit of time, but you definitely don't want to rush it. You want to definitely take your time, slowly apply your coats, and then the more coats you add, the more red it'll be, and the longer it'll stick to it. So you really want to make sure that you grab the brush and that you really work the dye into the sole, just because you want to make sure you get all the cracks and crevices of the sole. You want to make sure you get every single place in there, because you don't want to end up, once you get the acetone and start rubbing it off, you don't want to end up rubbing too much off to where you'll see spotting and then you have to reapply your application. Usually how I do this, I'll do it at least twice. So I'm going to let it dry for about 30 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna end up applying it one more time after I remove some of the acetone, just to, you know, just to make sure that it's really in there. So the reason why I did this, just because I didn't want to go to the hassle of painting the soles and then getting sole sole protection on there, just because it's gonna eventually peel and crack, and I'd rather just dye the sole just so that it gives a more factory and clean look. Alright, now that the soles are completely done, we're going to let them dry for 30 minutes and we'll get right back. What's up, guys? Now it's been about, about 25-30 minutes. I'm going to apply just another light coat just to make sure that the dye really gets into the sole. So I'm going to do just another coat just on the sides, because I just really want to make sure that the edges end up getting, really cured into the dye. Because, for the most part, the bottoms aren't really going to be seen much by people. Not that it really matters, but at least for me, I want it to look as factory as possible. So I just want to make sure that the sides are really, the dye is really applied fairly well. Just that it maintains the redness once I add the acetone and I slightly remove the rest of the residue that's staying on the actual sole. Alright, now that the edges are pretty done, pretty good, like the way, I'll see if I can get more light. There you go. Just want the edges to, be fairly well. Okay, now that they're just like how I like it, make sure that you wear gloves. I don't have any, at least not right now, at least not inside the house. So I'm just like, using my hands or whatever. But yeah, make sure you wear gloves just in case. So then you get the acetone right here. I use this like nail polish remover, and I can't remember what percentage. So there's a different percentage of acetone. I can't remember what this one is. It doesn't say, but acetone, nail polish remover, all works basically the same way. So now you got the acetone. All you want to do is just lightly apply it over the shoes just to get the rest of the residue, so you don't have weird spottings. Don't overdo it, because you don't want to remove too much of the dye. You just want to, let the acetone and the cotton swab do its job. Just make sure you do a light coat, lightly, don't press too much on the shoe. Just let the acetone do its job. You can tell, it's actually really, really doing justice. It's actually getting all the little residue that's, they ended up cluttering a little bit, just a little bit. It wasn't really too bad, but overall, it's slightly even. Everything looks really good to me. So yeah, now we're just gonna let it dry just for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back to the little office spot. Overall, the dye worked fairly well. I did like how it ended up coming out. If you guys can tell, it looks fairly red. It's actually pretty nice after applying 2 coats, then getting a little bit of acetone and removing the rest of the residue. Overall, there really wasn't any too bad residue left over, some of the cracks. I was actually fairly satisfied at how it came out. And, I'm going to link their Instagram down below of the dye that I bought. I don't know if they still had that sale, but they had buy 2, get 1 free. So it was actually pretty, it was actually fairly useful for me. Let me guys know, like, did it work out pretty good for me? I think it worked out pretty good. There's no really any spotting, other than you gotta understand that the shoe, I wouldn't say it was beat. They're actually they were a little bit beat from the heel, but there was some already discoloration with the soles. They weren't clear soles, but they were like an orange tint. So they did have some kind of, like, it was a little bit dark in some spots. But overall, it ended up coming out fairly well. I could possibly apply more red onto it. But, I don't want to apply too much, because I want to still be able to see, that Gatorade, so that you kind of know where the shoe came from. So what I'm going to end up doing next in my next video, I got dye in my hands. So what I'm going to end up doing in my next video is I'm going to end up painting the uppers. Done. I ended up doing a video, so it's going to be a part 2. So it's going to be part 1. You've seen a lot of people on YouTube do this, so it's really not unique. I've already seen it. I thought it was a great time, because although I love this orange pair, it's a little bit too orange for me, and I do have the shattered backboard, so I don't really need another orange shoe. So I figured, I have a little bit of time on my hands, so why not custom these? I've been wanting to do it for a while. I am going to keep the Gatorade logo. Now, as for the Air Jordan, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get some stencils for it, just because the logo is already faded out a little bit. So hopefully if I can get some stencils in, I'll probably do a later video for it. I just need to find somebody on Instagram could do it. I don't. If you guys know somebody, just link it down below. Show some love. Let me know. So yeah, now that you guys made it this far to the video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have my Instagram down below. I'm gonna slowly start doing my reservation videos. Just hopefully, I end up getting more shoots and end up working on more projects. I do have another project that I have next. After I'm done with the Air Jordan 1s, I might restore my 5s. I do need to get my 5s fixed, although I finally have a donor. I wasn't really expecting it to be a donor, but those 5s that I ended up getting from my previous video, I'm not really liking how they are, so I'm just gonna use them so I needed it anyways. So I figure, they were dirt cheap on eBay, so I'm just gonna end up using those for a donors. And then and also I was thinking of maybe using the tongue on that shoe for my metallic 5s. I'm not really sure. I might, but we'll get to it whenever I get to it. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, and I see you guys in the next video. Peace.